One of the biggest metal events in history has just happened yesterday. Back to the beginning, Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and today we're going to see actually how insane it was. I watched literally the whole thing. It was actually amazing. So we're going to go through little bits from like the beginning to roughly when Ozzy Osbourne started, and then we're going to look more into Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath's performance, because obviously that's what this whole event is about. But obviously there is a stacked lineup. You know, this was the entire lineup of the day, and you can see there's some massive guests in there. Starting off the night though was Mastodon. I'm not a massive Mastodon fan, but they did surprise me quite a bit, and I did actually enjoy their set. Are you ready? I think they're ready. Like, let's be honest, for how old he is and stuff, and how old this band are, their voices are pretty good. Now, every band did either a Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne cover, or both, which I think was really cool. So Mastodon did Supernaut. Let's have a quick listen to that. Do you know what? The drummer's singing voice is actually pretty good as well. Like, it's very Ozzy Osbourne-esque. I saw a lot of people like complaining because a lot of the bands are like reading teleprompters and stuff. If this is a song they don't play very often, right? I think it makes sense. They had like a big drum off here as well, which I think was pretty cool, which, you know, to start off the night, it's a good start, you know? There was a lot of people complaining as well about the set lengths, and I don't know what people were really expecting. So the set lengths for this were about 15 minutes roughly per band. Now that's not a very long time, I agree. However, for how many bands are in this lineup, you have to try and squeeze every single one in. But 3 songs to showcase yourself, your own music, and a cover of either Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath. You're doing quite a lot straight away, and you're just showcasing your music to these thousands of people. I saw at the end of the night it said there was like 7 million people watching this live stream. 7 million people have just heard these guys maybe for the first time ever. Like myself, I've never listened to Mastodon before, but I will happily go and see them. They seem really cool. The next band, Rival Sons, I was meant to see them a few weeks ago when I saw Guns N' Roses. I'm gutted that I missed them there because they were actually so good. Now, the best way that I can describe Rival Sons for you, this singer here is as if Chris Cornell and Robert Plant had a child. Like, I kid you not, he sounds phenomenal. They did a cover of Electric Funeral by Black Sabbath. Like, it's hard for the next band to come after these guys because I just really enjoyed their show. But you can hear, like, his voice is, like, there. Everyone in the crowd loves him. And their energy as well, like, so good. I'm gonna skip forward just into, like, their own song. Like, his voice is so good. And he's got his dogs out! He's got his dogs out! These guys, one of my highlights of the night. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, please leave a like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 113,000 subscribers, so if you want to help out with that, I do appreciate that. Anyway, next up into the night was Antharax. Now, I have never got into Antharax. This was a pretty cool performance as well. I think the way I described them to my friend was, it was like a heavier Iron Maiden. Now, they did 2 songs. They did their own one, Indians, which is what you're hearing here. Because of copyright, I can't really show that much of it. And their Black Sabbath cover was Into the Void. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like an Iron Maiden sort of feel, isn't it? Let's skip forward to their Black Sabbath cover. And look at that crowd. I've never seen that stadium that full that early into the day. This is like 1:40 p.m. by the way. And look how stacked that stadium is. Like, watching this live stream made me realize I kind of wish I was there. However, I'm also really glad that I wasn't, because I know a portion of chips there is like £7, but I didn't. I ended up watching the live stream for, I think, £25. But yeah, Antharax, pretty cool. I would probably see them if they were in the UK, to be honest. So far, the 3 bands that I've seen here, I would probably see if they were in the UK and like touring. Now, next up is Halestorm. I have seen Halestorm twice. I saw them once at Download and once at London. Lizzie Hale is a phenomenal vocalist. I know that she gets a lot of like crap for some reason in the metal community because people just want to gatekeep women, apparently. That being said as well, I believe she is the only woman in this entire lineup, other than later on when Gojira plays and they bring out the person that does that song that was in the Olympics. So it obviously sucks there's basically one woman performing throughout this entire show, but she does an amazing job of it. Can you feel it? And like, her voice, can you feel it? Just from that is so good. So Halestorm did 3 songs, 2 originals, 1 Ozzy Osbourne cover. The Ozzy Osbourne cover was Perry Mason. But let's listen to a little bit of Love Bites quickly because I just love this song. Do you know what's quite interesting about this whole performance, right? Usually when you see like a show and stuff, there's like a few vocal tweaks and stuff that happen just like behind the scenes, just to bring like a bit more enhancement in. From every band that I've seen, everything's been very like raw. There's not been that many vocal effects. I'm sure it's because it's going straight into the live stream as well, but her voice is just so good. Let's skip forward to her cover of Perry Mason. They're just such a talented band. I'm so glad that I got into Halestorm a couple of years ago. I saw they were playing at Download and I was like, I've got to see them. I'm actually obsessed with them. Like, they are just so good. Lizzie Hale does come back in a little bit. We'll get to that shortly. Next up, Lamb of God. Now, I have never got into Lamb of God. I'm just not personally a fan of that kind of music. I feel like this guy was like a teacher in my school. This is the thing though, like I can appreciate this kind of music. I think every single like genre of music is great in its own way. Every single bit of music has like gone from one area and expanded out like this pretty much. But yeah, Lamb of God did 3 songs. They did 2 of their own and they also did a cover of Children of the Grave. I was so excited to hear their cover of Children of the Grave, I can't lie. But when his voice is like this, I wanted just to hear like his actual singing voice.
Let me hear it. Sabbath, Sabbath.
Every single band that has played so far has been such a good performer on stage. They know how to get the crowd going. They know how to get the crowd involved. So to get 50,000 people in one basically massive room to do that, that is insane showmanship. If I skip forward to their cover of Children of the Grave. It sounds fine. I think his like gruff on the first bit was sounding like perfect for it. Obviously, Ozzy Osbourne sings with like such a high range, so it's going to be like almost impossible for like most of these bands to do it, especially when that song I think is recorded in C# on like all the guitars. So to detune that even further, to make it fit better with your music, it's going to be very difficult. But I think they still made it their own, you know? Especially when he brought this back. Again, it's not for me, that kind of music, but I can appreciate this performance still. Okay, now next up in this was a compilation of artists, basically. A supergroup formation, if you say so myself. What? This was billed as Supergroup A. They all did Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath covers again. Starting with Lizzie Hale on vocals. So good already. The next song was, controversial, which sucks because it's one of my favorite Ozzy Osbourne songs of all time. It was Shot in the Dark. I'm only gonna play a little bit of this. It was with David Draymond from Disturbed. Obviously, he's quite hated in the metal community at the moment for signing bombs in Israel, which obviously disgusting. I think if you sign bombs for basically any country, that is just disgusting anyway. The whole point of like metal music in particular is to make a massive community worldwide. And all these people are like saying, oh, love and peace and whatever. You can't go and sign bombs for love and peace. When he came out, the boos overweighed the yays. There was a lot of boos there. Yeah, it sucks. One of my favourite Ozzy Osbourne songs, and I had to listen to him do it, and, you know, I don't agree with signing bombs anywhere in the world. We're going to bring out Whitfield Crane from a band called Ugly Kid Joe. I've been lucky enough to meet him a long time ago. Him and the band were, like, very lost on the way to a venue, I think, in Sheffield, I think it was. I just so happened to be there, so I helped show the way. Now, this also had Frank Bello and also 2 from Sleep Token. Now, I've never got into Sleep Token. I've seen them live, still couldn't get into them personally. But I can agree, every single person in that band is an exceptional musician. Yeah, I can't show too much of it again just because of copyright. Next up was actually a really surprising one. It was a cover of Changes by Black Sabbath. And you're never going to guess who was singing it. Right, I'll give you a second. It was Youngblood. Now, I've never really got massively into Youngblood. I think he's very talented. I've heard his new album. It's actually very good. And I like the direction he's currently going with his music at the moment. My partner Rosie has a channel and a website called Disloyal Order. She was lucky enough to go to his festival the other week, and she said, like, his whole performance was spot on. I actually think it was one of the highlights of this entire show.
I feel unhappy. I feel so sad.
Here we go. Love him or hate him, he is an exceptional performer. He's got full control of that entire stadium right now, you know? That's like one of the biggest applauses of the night as well. Like I said, love him or hate him, you can't like deny that he did a good job there. And then after Youngblood, we waited a little bit and we got a little video clip come on. And it was a cover of Mr. Crowley. And this is like a whole like School of Rock thing, right? Out comes a man that I was expecting to be in this show regardless of what happened. And here he is.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head?
Honestly, these kids are so good already. This is the future of basically metal and rock music in general. Insane. But yeah, that marks the end of the various artists Tom Morello's Supergroup A thing. Really cool. I like that they got kids involved as well in this bit. Next up was Alice in Chains. Now, I've never really listened to Alice in Chains. I know a couple songs, and luckily the two songs they played of their own, I did know. It was Man in the Box and Wood. I really like this singer. Like, he's actually so cool. I know that's not the original singer either. I don't really know what happened, but I think he's a great addition to this band. They also did a cover of Fairies Wear Boots. This actually cut out in the stream. But like, it sounded really cool. I really enjoyed it. I love that song as well. I think it's my dad's favorite Black Sabbath song, so it's quite cool to hear. When I saw Ozzy Osbourne back in like 2008, I'm pretty sure he played it and my dad loved it, so that was cool. But yeah, Alice in Chains, I think they did a really good job as well. Next up though is Gojira. I've seen their name many times, but I've also seen like they were in the Olympics. This is not my kind of music, but I can really appreciate it still. My thing is, if they were at a festival and I was also there, I would go and see them, you know? The song that I do know that they do is this one. This is like the only song that I know by them because I saw it in the Olympics and that was about it. And I know they've got the woman from it out as well. There she is. Lovely. But yeah, they seem pretty cool. They did a cover of Under the Sun by Black Sabbath, so that was pretty cool as well. They've done it in their own way. I think that's pretty cool. Like adding your own like vocal twists, your instrumental twists, whatever, you should. Now we're on to the drum battle. So the drum off, so to say, was a drum off between Chad Smith, Travis Baker, and Danny Carey. I think it was like scheduled to be like a 10-minute drum battle off, but I think it was only like maybe, I think it was like 5 minutes. It was cool. But the next bit of this, oh my God, we've got Supergroup B. Starting off with a cover of Breaking the Law by Judas Priest, with Billy Corgan on vocals. Breaking the law, breaking the law. I don't know if Billy Corgan's vocals like fit it perfectly, but it's still good, you know? Obviously you got KK Downing here as well. The whole point of this show, again, is to just have like a massive like party, so to say. Obviously Judas Priest being a big one from Birmingham. So obviously it makes sense that one song was played. I believe the tour back when Ozzy Osbourne was meant to do it in 2018, 19, 20 was meant to be Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, and then someone else underneath it. Obviously that never happened. I know Judas Priest are currently on their tour with Alice Cooper at the moment, so obviously they couldn't be here, but it's cool that you still got a little bit of it at least. Then they did a cover of Snowblind by Black Sabbath. And again, that crowd just looks so good. Sammy Hagar came out next. Now, Sammy Hagar was, I think, in Van Halen for a little bit, and they did a cover of Flying High again by Ozzy Osbourne. But like his voice still sounds pretty good. I searched up like what songs he did with Van Halen, and I couldn't like find anything properly because every time I searched it, it came up with just everything that David Lee Roth did. I never got like massively into Van Halen. Like I know the hits and that's about it. But overall, I think he did a good job. And they also did a cover of one of his own songs, which is Rock Candy by Montrose. Now I've heard this song, but I don't know why. Yeah, I just think everyone that's here is just so talented. I was saying right earlier, I was like, how are so many like massively influential musicians literally down the road from me? Like, I couldn't believe it when I kind of thought about it. Now next up, I know people don't like this guy anyway because they're always like, they're not metal. Ghost. Tobias Forge, Papa 5, Perpetua, has been invited here, by the way, everyone. Doing a cover of Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon. Obviously, that fits the character of Ghost perfectly. Wonderful. I think he did a pretty good job, I can't lie. That's a hard song anyway, like the vocals are very high up. And again, there's no backing vocals on this, there's no like extra vocal effects coming on this, so it's just raw vocals from him. But I think he gets a lot of crap for no reason because everyone's always like, he's not actually metal. They've never said they are. I think the one like criticism I have for like most of this show is a lot of songs could have been down-tuned a bit to help out like some of the singers. But I do get they're also trying to keep that legacy of like playing the song as it was originally recorded. But I think having it down-tuned slightly, most people, especially in an audience of people that just like music, won't really care. Now, next up, I think actually one of the best performers that I have ever seen, and I've still never seen him in person, fuming about it, Steven Tyler. I've got a tattoo of him here, like one of my favorite musicians in the world. He came out to do 2 covers, technically 3. Let's see how he does. He also had Ronnie Wood come out from the Rolling Stones.
The demon screams! Steven Tyler!
Woo! I've been gutted that I've never been able to see Aerosmith or Steven Tyler before. Please, Steven Tyler, this performance is going to show that you need to do it still. He still sounds identical! And they come out with a cover of Walk This Way. And then they go from that into a cover of Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin, and this really still showcases his vocal abilities. I wish I could like show you all of this. He still sounds so good. I would love to be able to sing like him. But yeah, that was the end of Supergroup B. I think Steven Tyler and Youngblood so far have been like my exceptional musicians. Obviously Lizzie Hale was in there too. Next up, Pantera. Now, never got into Pantera. There's a lot of controversies around Pantera still to this day. Jason Momoa got into the pit as well. It's quite funny. And you can see Jason Momoa in there having the time of his life. Like, I think that's so funny that he goes and does that. It shows that he's got a true love of this kind of music, which is so nice. Pantera did 4 songs. They did 2 of their own, and they also did Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath and Electric Funeral by Black Sabbath. I think that's the second time Electric Funeral's been played, because I think Rival Sons also did that. So there could have been like a bit of discussion probably between the bands on the covers they were going to do, but I think that's fine still. I think it's the calmest I've ever seen this band. But obviously Zakk Wylde as well is there, so you're going to expect like some songs that he loves playing. So like, it sounds good still, you know, it's still good music. I do love that every time it kind of pans like a shot like this, you can see like all the musicians looking down at the teleprompter for the lyrics. Sometimes you've got such a short like time period to learn something that you just need that like extra little bit of help. I know that I've played a song before where I've just forgotten all the lyrics before, but I put like literally every single first word on a piece of paper on like below me, stood on it straight away, lost all the lyrics, so I made them all up. You can't make these lyrics up. Next up was Tool. I never have got into Tool. I think their stage setup's a bit weird, right? Why is the singer like all the way at the back? But also, I guess it kind of showcases all of them in like a trapeze situation. Now they did 3 songs. They did 2 of their own, and they also did Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath. Yeah, I just find it a bit weird how the singer's all the way at the back. I don't know. I said this reminds me of like when my cat's about to throw up. They seem cool. I don't know. It's not my kind of band personally. You know, you have that sometimes. After them was Slayer. Now, again, I've never really got into Slayer either. They played 7 songs somehow. But this is Slayer if you don't know. Like, this is the kind of music they make. It's quite funny because that sounds like very Metallica-y. I don't really listen to either Metallica or Slayer, so I could be wrong there. After that was Guns N' Roses. Now, I saw Guns N' Roses like last week at Villa Park in Birmingham, and I got my ticket very like last minute at like 4 p.m. for £30. They did 6 songs total. They did It's Alright by Black Sabbath. They did Never Say Die by Black Sabbath, Junior's Eyes by Black Sabbath, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath. That was a mouthful. But when I saw them the other week, Axl Rose's like lower register is still pretty accurate. His higher register though, it has those like twinges every now and then of sounding like classic Axl, but then it just turns back into Mickey Mouse very quickly, you know? I think musician wise though, they're still like spot on. But I think this intro was like quite good from them. I think he could have done with being close to the microphone. And there you go. There's our Mickey Mouse. You know what? I know what the issue is with Guns N' Roses. All of their music, they're still playing in that E-flat tuning for like all the instruments. They need to tune that stuff down like to D or D-flat, a full step or a half step. And I think that would make Axl's vocals really push out and sound powerful. They haven't done it for some reason. Again, it might be one of those things where they're trying to make it sound as like identical to the record as possible. But you can't have the instrumental and the vocals sound identical when they're basically crossed over like this somehow. Yeah, there you go. But it's annoying, right? At the beginning of Welcome to the Jungle when they did it, listen to his vocal here. He needs that power in all of his vocals. I don't know, I actually quite enjoyed going to the show. You gotta give them credit for their like actual show at the moment. They're doing 3 hours a night. That's a long time. They could do like what most bands do where they come out for an hour and a half, but 3 hours constant playing, that's difficult. And it's gotta be straining on his voice as well. But I think if they just down-tuned everything, it would sort so many problems out. Like I showed a minute ago, he can still reach those like notes that he used to. Not the same way, but he can still reach them with the shouting, but then he just kind of goes back to Mickey Mouse, I guess, but it's fine. Anyway, after that, Metallica pops in. I've seen Metallica twice, download both times, and they are very talented. I can give them that. Like, they're all very talented. I think James Hetfield's voice in this was a bit hit and miss for like the vocals for the Black Sabbath stuff. But like, it was still fine. So apparently Hole in the Sky is an E flat. I think if they took it down to D flat, that would be so much easier for his vocals. But then like their actual like own stuff, you can hear his vocals are like all there still. I'll skip forward to them doing Master of Puppets. I'm not a massive Metallica fan, like I said, but I think it still sounded pretty good from what I was watching earlier. But we've got to that point in the video now where Ozzy Osbourne comes in. I don't think anyone knew what to expect with Ozzy Osbourne. Obviously, we've seen videos of him. I saw him in Birmingham the other day, signing the mural, but he came out and let's just show you what happened. Here he comes. The crowd goes wild. There he is. Good old Ozzy! Yeah, Ozzy! Oh, he looks so happy. It's so cute. And I think this whole performance actually becomes quite emotional. On his throne as well, like I predicted.
Are you ready?
Listen to that crowd.
Are you ready?
Oh my god. I was not prepared for what I was prepared to hear here. I actually can't believe how good he sounds. That's the Ozzy Osbourne that I know and I've heard for so long in my life. When we were waiting for this performance and stuff, over the last few days, I've seen like members of Black Sabbath be like, yeah, he's gonna play 4 songs and that's it. He played a total of 9 songs. 9 pretty long songs. Like every single person doing this is insane. He's got so much control and he sat down.
It's so good to be on this fucking stage, you got no idea how I feel.
It's cute.
Okay, here's a song called Mr. Crowley.
Yes! Also one of my favourite Ozzy Osbourne songs. Here we go.
Mr. Crowley, what's been on in your head?
So it's obviously a bit slower, this song, for this version. It's obviously tuned down a lot. This is what I mean. This is what a lot of other musicians during this entire night could have done with doing, is tuning down to fit the vocalist, because if the vocals sound off, the music sounds off, it all sounds off. And look how happy he is.
I love you all, man.
And look at that crowd. Imagine a stadium selling out for what is this guy's legacy. Look how happy he is. This is a guy that's basically gone fuck you to death, you know, for his entire life. I love his little claps. It's so cute. And look at that. Scary Osbourne.
A lot of people working to get this gig going for me, you know. My wife worked her ass up for a year to get it all organised. And a guy called Tom Morello, who organised all the bands, people like that, you know, make concerts happen. I've been laid up for like fucking 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man.
That little like choke up there. It made me kind of like, when I watched this, I was like, Ozzy. And then to follow that with this song.
Times have changed and times are strange. Here I come, but I ain't the same.
Everyone in the audience is so like teary-eyed.
I don't care
That's a very emotional audience if I've ever seen one. Like, it's amazing what music can do. Like, he's putting his all into it. It's actually so, like, amazing to think. Like, I even showed Rosie, who's not, like, a massive, like, Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath fan. She was like, you know what? His voice actually sounds so good. It's making me sad. I feel really teary-eyed right now. It's just so good. He's got so much control over that crowd. Look at that crowd! That's actually insane. I think Ozzy Osbourne's set was just, like, actually so good. People were expecting, like, the bare minimum from him, and he fully went out and did it. But then Black Sabbath played. I'll do it, Ozzy. I'll do it for you quickly. That sends like chills down my spine. It's having that audience control. It shows how much of a legacy you hold. I think his vocals just like actually exceptional for this performance. They're all doing it, every single person. This here made me realize how good Geezer Butler is at bass. Like, he's actually so good. Yeah, I don't know if there was like a bit of like latency issues with like the in-ears and stuff, but it seems like every now and then they kind of just went a bit off time. It's actually just like phenomenal how good of a job Ozzy Osbourne's done. And we'll skip forward to Paranoid as well. It was so like iconic this entire night. I feel like the Ozzy Osbourne set should have been above the Black Sabbath set. I think the Ozzy Osbourne set was like one final big like ah! But like I think the Black Sabbath set, I don't know, I just don't think it was as exciting and as rehearsed and didn't sound as like polished. Let me know what you think about that. But overall, like actually an amazing show from front to back. As I said earlier on, Ozzy Osbourne just, I think he blew everyone out the park, literally out the Villa Park. Was it worth the £490 for the Golden Circle? If you were there, I'm sure it was. If you were paying the £260 for standing, I'm sure it was. If you were paying for the seats, like right at the back for 90 odd quid or whatever, I'm sure it was. I'm sure you all had a lovely time there. I'm a little gutted that I didn't go, but also I'm quite happy with my £25 ticket. But yeah, I think Ozzy Osbourne overall just did such an amazing job. The second he came out and his voice came out and it wasn't even like on tracks. But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. I hope you had a lovely time watching this. If you want to go and donate to this, to donate to charity, watch this for the next like 24 hours or whatever, I highly recommend you do. There's some phenomenal performances on here. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.